Hey guys, so in today's video, I'll show you how to solve a debounce. This is a very common interview question for front-end interviews. So you should know how to think about it, how to solve it. Let's just get into it. So here we have just an empty file. I'll start by defining a function called debounce. Okay, so here we have an empty file. I'll start by defining a function called debounce. And usually you take two parameters. One's the callback and second one is the delay. How long is the debounce going to be? And how this debounce is going to work is when you call it, you pretty much don't want the same function to get called twice. Let's say when you are implementing an autocomplete, you don't want to fetch the autocomplete results on every keystroke. If somebody's typing like a city, San Francisco, you don't want to make a request for each of the letters. You want to make a request at the end when they finish typing. So you want to have a debounce so that it waits for the last execution, for the last keystroke, and then calls the function to fetch the autocomplete results, which would be like, I don't know, it depends on the application, but that's the concept. You would see the results of that query. And so first thing I'm gonna do is return a function because that's what what's expected. Let's say debounce fetch. In this, I would have like a debounce. Hopefully this all makes sense at the end. I'll go through this. Let's say 1,000. Let's just pass 1,000. This is 1 second. So what we want to do is within this return value. So pretty much this debounce fetch, we're passing a callback, which is this fetch, and we want to only call that fetch when at the end of the keystrokes. So we want to have some kind of timeout for running for a second. This is going to take a callback too, and that's going to run for delay, which is a second in this example, but you pass delay from the parameters. And here, pretty much you just call the callback. That's all you need to do inside this setTimeout. So currently what this is going to do is call the fetch, but without any functionality. If I do the debounce fetch, this is going to, let's say I have my function fetch, and this fetch results. It's pretty simple, just a log. What this is going to do is it's going to just log this after a second. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so I'll make this bigger here, and let's do no debounce. Fetch results, right? Okay, so we want to have, let's run it 3 times, and we'll see that it logs the same thing 3 times. Okay, so we don't want that. We want this to be logged just once because all the 3 calls are within the same second. So what we do is we can save this interval, this timeout, in a variable. So what this setTimeout returns is an integer, and that integer is the number of the timeout. And the reason that gets returned is so that you can clear that number, and then pretty much whatever is inside this callback doesn't execute and is kind of canceled. So we're gonna see if there's a timeout, we just cancel it, and that pretty much, so every time this runs, if there's a timeout, it's going to cancel it and start it over again. So So then no matter if I run it 3 times, let's go ahead and think about that. The first time it's going to, if there's a timeout, there's no timeout, this is full. So then it goes ahead and run this. So now I have a number here. And after the timer is done, after the delay is completed, the callback is going to run. But if I run it again right after, this is going to have a number, an integer. Then it's going to cancel, it's going to clear the interval, which cancels the previous set timeout cycle, or the previous call to set timeout, and starts it over again and stores a new number in timeout, and so on and so forth. If I call it a third time, the same thing's going to happen, where there's a number here. It's going to cancel the previous set timeout setup that we had, and it's going to start it over again when running lines 8 out of 10 for the third time. So let's try this and see how it works. Let's see if it does what we think it's going to do. Actually, it isn't. Let me see. So yeah, this isn't working because it's not I'm clearing an interval when it's a timeout, so I have to do clear timeout instead of clear interval. Yeah, now we see that it works, and all is good. So yeah, play around with it. There's several variations. If you wanna take on a challenge, I recommend you try to make it so that the callback runs at the beginning, and it cannot run during the delay. In this case, 1000, but it could be anything. So yeah, try to modify this code, think about it, and see how you would make it so that this scenario would work. That's something you're probably going to get asked in an interview. So try to think about it. Let me know. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing. It helps the channel. It helps me continue making these videos. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys.